let's talk about what a proxy is. So a proxy is, imagine having a different internet connection. So you have your internet connection with what you're connecting to the internet right now is your internet connection. So it's basically it's like your IP address. So if I Google what is my IP address is this, right? So if this is my IP address and I start sending contact form messages from my IP address, then whoever gets my message can basically look at their logs on their website and see that they got a message from my IP. Now, if you send off enough messages from one IP address, this, let's say your IP address, you can start getting complaints to that IP address, okay? And that's not good because you can start getting your IP address reported to your internet company, and your internet company can get mad at you and shut off your internet. So what we do instead is we use something called proxies, and a proxy is basically a way to switch your IP address. So instead of you sending a message from this, you send a message from an IP address that you buy. That's what a proxy is. It's like a proxy IP address, right? It's a substitute IP address. Now what we can do is we can head over to a website called My Private Proxy, and I'll leave a link in the description of this video so you can get a special deal on a proxy. So instead of Googling it, go to the link. But you're gonna get, once you click on the link, you're gonna go to this website, and you just wanna click on Private Proxies. Now you can literally get started with, like, let's say 10 proxies or 20 proxies. The way this works is you can send out more messages at a time, faster basically. You can send out at a higher rate when you have more proxies. If you have less proxies, you can't send as many messages because you're sending through less connections. So if you have 200 proxies, you can basically send out messages through 200 different addresses. Whereas with this, you can only send out, it's basically a 10x rule. So for 20, you can send out 200 messages a second. For 200, you can send about 2,000 messages a second. Now you might be thinking, well, why would I want to send out 2,000 messages a second? Well, you'd want to send out 2,000 messages a second if you have a list of 20 million contact forms, which you can get. It's definitely doable. I have a list of 20 million contact forms myself, and if I wanted to send out 20 million messages, even with 2,000 messages a second, it's still going to take me a while to do this because I'm going to have to do some things to automate it. So either way, you can start with, let's say, 20 proxies or even 10. You could even start with 1 if you wanted to, but just grab something. Let's just say you grab 20, click on Get Started. So when you go buy these proxies, they're going to ask you for a use case, or just say Other, choose proxies location, United States, click on Continue, and then you're going to buy your proxies. Now, when you buy your proxies, if you click on Customer Area, just enter in our emails. Hopefully I can remember it. Log in, maybe that's it. There we go. You're going to have your services here, right? So you can see I have 2 services. I have 2 different orders for 200 proxies. So I actually have 400 proxies right now. And if I click on the services here, I can see my proxies. These are the ones that are active. Now, if I want to download these proxies for my tool, for the contact forms, I can go to My Proxies here. And here's all my proxies, all my passwords. I'm gonna have to change this, by the way, because you guys can just log into it. But by the time you see this, I'll just update the password. But you're gonna click on Download Full Proxy List. And now this proxy list you can use on your server. So if you go to your contact forms. So if you go to your contact forms and you click on your project, so Plumbers Near Me, we can configure, add proxies, and then we can upload from our clipboard or from our file. So we just import from file and we go to our proxies wherever we have them saved. So say that's our proxies, press OK, and it'll just load all of them up in there. And then what you want to do is just click on test and make sure they all work. So you just do test all, and then it'll go through and test and make sure they work. So you want these to show up in green. You might have a couple that show up in red. That's not a big deal. But that's how you get your proxies loaded up. And you want to make sure that when you have your proxies loaded, to make sure you click on Use Proxies for search engines. And then when you click on submission content, you also want to use proxies for sending, because you're going to be sending messages from these proxies as well. Okay. So that's the basics of proxies. And if you're a little bit confused, don't worry. Just go back through the video, replay it, watch it again. There is a little bit of a learning curve with this stuff, but once you get it, it's pretty basic. And by the way, if I get enough people saying in the comments of this video that they really don't understand how to set this stuff up and they want like a done for you service, let me know and I will try to put together a done for you service. And I will link it in the description of this video if I do end up doing it. So that way we can just set it up for you. I'm not guaranteeing whether or not we will do that, but if I get enough people saying and asking for it within the comments of this video, I will consider putting it in the description of this video. So check back in this video if we do end up putting it here. If you don't see it, then it means that we decided not to put together a done for you service. Okay, so we'll see you in the next one.